All right, so I'm back here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. If you joined me before, put your questions in the comments because I know I saw a bunch of questions there. So put your questions in the comments, and then I will answer those questions. In the meantime, I'm going to be going through on Instagram here to see what other questions there are. So, prima facie letter, what whole I'm not sure what that says, but I think after the prima facie, I'm not sure what that means. After the prima facie, what I'll say is after the prima facie, you get the prima facie determination letter, then you're gonna have to wait for a decision on your VAWA application. If it takes the prima facie determination letter is for 1 year. So it seems that my internet connection is a little unstable today. So I don't think I can spend much longer just because it's going to keep happening. But after you get the prima facie determination letter, you have to wait for a decision. Now, it's usually for 1 year that the prima facie determination letter is valid for, and then if they continue to make decisions on it, it's going to continue to automatically renew until a decision is made on your VAWA. My husband I-130 was approved, but I had to send in I-824 before they send the papers to the NVC. How long would it take for USCIS to send it over? So it can take some weeks to even months. Uh, so it can take some weeks to even months. So it just depends on their processing times right now. Let me know if sound is there. Let me know if you can hear the sound. All right. All right. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, put your questions. Okay, great. Thanks so much. Boy, today is the technical difficulties. Today is not really treating me well, but that's okay because I got some good news earlier today, so I'm still happy. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm going to rush through some of your questions here just to make sure I can get to it before we have any further issues. Um, Okay, so my cousin's husband is waiting for an interview almost 2 years now. She sent in everything they asked for. Do you know when they will be sending out interview dates in Jamaica? So, based on my experience, I would say 2 years is around the time that you wait for. So, if they're waiting for 2 years, they could be getting that interview notice any day now. But before that interview is scheduled, they usually have to. Oh no. Okay, can't hear now. Oh boy. All right. All right, let me come out of here and all right, so now it's on Instagram. Let's just fix this issue. All right, so if you have a priority date and receive the I-767, so yeah, so you have a priority date. It depends. I'm thinking now the I-767C or 797C is a document that is issued. It just means it's a notice from the USCIS with the priority date. We usually call it the receipt notice. And that priority date will tell you when it will be your turn in the process if your process depends on the priority date. So the priority date doesn't really matter when it comes on to the immediate relatives of US citizens, but it is more relevant where you're in another category. So you can follow up with more questions if you have more follow-up questions regarding that. All right, so put your questions again in the comments on Instagram. I'm so sorry, today's one of those bad days. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments so I can answer your questions. I would love to answer your questions before I head out today. All right, put those questions in the comments. Okay, how much do you charge for a consultation? So it's $150 for half an hour. You can call the office or you can go to the link in the profile. Go to the link in the profile, you'll see how to schedule your own appointment. You can also go to the website. When you click on the website, you'll see all the information about the firm and you'll be able to see our contact information there. How long does it take the NVC to send your welcome letter? So I would say it's sometimes a day after we get the approval for the I-130, sometimes a week. When how long does it take to get work permit? So for VAWA, how long does it take to get the work permit? The shortest I've seen is 4 months and the longest I've seen is 12 months. The is around 9 to 12 months. What are the requirements for an E2 visa? So you have to be the citizen of an E2 treaty country, investor country. Now, those are countries all around the world. There's a specific list that you can look at on USCIS. But in the Caribbean, for example, you're looking at Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, and Jamaica. You have to show that you have substantial investment in the business that you will create or that you are in the process of creating in the US, or that you have in the US, and that you also have to show that you will have a temporary intent that's only your sole intent is to run that business here in the US. Your spouse, your children can also get a status here while you're running that business here in the US. My cousin's husband is waiting for an interview date for almost 2 years. So I would say they're gonna get that date any day now. 2 years is around the time I'm seeing people are waiting, a year and a half to 2 years for that interview. So this is where also if you are looking at adjustment of status or doing consular processing, that means at the embassy, adjustment of status is faster. It's definitely faster than the consular processing. So if that is even a choice for you, um, so word on the streets is saying that if you get pregnant, you can't be deported that easy due to citizen child. I have a cousin with this problem. She overstayed on her visa. No, that is not true. So if you have they now the reason this rumor may have come about is that certain individuals can apply for forgiveness, they can apply for certain prosecutorial discretion, they can apply to terminate the proceeding based on now having a child here. However, it really comes down to the circumstances involved. But right now, what's happening is that the Biden administration, they're not going and detaining individuals just by virtue of them being here without their papers. They are now prioritizing deportation for those who have criminal records, who pose as a safety risk, public safety risk, or risk to national security, or they have recently crossed the border without permission. If you need help, give us a call, schedule your appointment. I'll be glad to assist you. I responded to an RFE 4 weeks ago now, but the status hasn't changed to saying they received it. Should I be concerned? No. You check though, make sure you check, but sometimes they don't update it, especially if it's a field office that asks for the request for evidence. And then this is where it's so important for you to cover yourself because maybe they didn't get it, right? The way you're going to make sure that you confirm that they've received it is by sending it through a courier and getting confirmation that it was delivered. For example, we use FedEx, and FedEx, when the officer who collects it will sign off on it. So you can see that it was delivered. So once you know the officer signed off on it, it means they got it and they're processing it. They may not, they just updated the system yet, which sometimes that happens. If your child is petitioned by his father, can he still attend school here in Jamaica? Now, if the child has a permanent residence, you need to be careful. You have to make sure that you get a special permit for the child to attend school outside of the US, and then it's called a reentry permit. Because if they go to Jamaica and they're living in Jamaica with a green card, and they do that for over a year, maybe even they're pushing it if they're there for over 6 months, the immigration can then say they've abandoned their permanent residence and move to revoke it. So you want to make sure that you cover your bases by if your child needs to leave for a while, they have to be outside of the US for up to 2 years. Make sure that you get that reentry permit. If you're a permanent resident and filing for your child over 21 and overstay, does she have to go back to the country? Yes. So based on that, you have to apply for an I-601A waiver to forgive the overstay. And when the interview comes, then she has to go to the interview. But so this is where I say if you're over 21, don't overstay. Because no easy way to get your green card while being here in the US. Don't overstay because you have a citizen parent. If you're over 21, not because you have a citizen or permanent resident parent, means you can automatically just adjust status. Does USCIS always update status when they're receiving your RFE response? I said, nah, not no. Especially when you're sending to the field office, sometimes they don't update it. Can my mother with a green card adjust my status? I have overstayed my visa. I did answer this again. If you're 21 or over, then you have to find another option. How after the submission of a TE status would a work permit be issued upon approval? Approvals are taking anywhere from 9 months to 18 months. On average, I'm seeing 12 months. That's where most of my cases are being approved. What option do you have if you have children who are under 21? So if the children are under 21 and they're US citizens, you have to wait until they're 21. If you're a permanent resident or a citizen and you have children who are under 21, get on it. You can apply for them and you will have a shorter process. But how you're going to approach that is going to be dependent on what the situation is. Does the children overstay? What's your status? Are you a citizen or a resident? So the Oakland field office. So yeah, just regular mail, but always take it from me. Here's a tip: always send by courier or by certified mail so that you can get proof of delivery. It will give you some peace of mind here. they got it. So if they got it, just hang on and wait. Roger, so much. All right. So I know I see other questions here, but I'm going to head out because the internet is not treating me well today, and it's very disruptive. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'm aiming process together all the technical difficulties. Thanks for your patience, and go ahead, click on the link in the profile. Thanks so much, Sashi. Click on the link in the profile to be able, and thanks for the love. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Go to the link in the profile if you'd like to schedule your own appointment. My schedule is filling up, so be sure to get on it very quickly. The staff is available to do that as well. I can't wait to talk to you too, Rose. All right. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.